Hello everybody, my name is Mark Brett and I'm Socitm's Information Assurance Advisor. I'd like to talk to you today about a few changes that have been going on with the PSN, and we'll especially be having a look at the new code of connection, discussions around that, the Knowledge Hub and its service, and how you can possibly get one of the new 24-month PSN compliance certificates. The first thing I'd like to do though is talk you through the Knowledge Hub. Socitm has now got a replacement for the GovX service, and there is a closed area for Socitm members, but this PSN Solutions service is completely open to everybody. What you'll need to do though is go along to the Knowledge Hub website, and the URL is up on the screen now. From there you'll need to register, going through this screen, or log in using this screen. Once you're onto the Knowledge Hub, the PSN service comes up as a subgroup, which you can find here. Once you're in the Knowledge Hub, there are various tabs which are self-explanatory, looking at things like the discussion forums, blog entries, knowledge entries, things like that. The type of functionality we used to have on GovX. The main part of the PSN service is going to be through using the Knowledge Hub. We will also be producing video updates such as this one, and we'll be doing various other events and producing some white papers and other things as we go. But generally speaking, the main advice is that the latest policy updates and guidance, all of it now will be published on gov.uk. CESG have also started to produce some new guidance, and again that guidance will be published on .gov.uk. So everything you will need in future to produce code of connection returns is going to be freely available on open internet websites. I must reiterate as well that these are my personal opinions. Some of the information is my best knowledge as of June 2015. Things do move on, things will change, and our absolute advice is, if you're not sure, inquire directly from the PSN compliance team. They'll be more than willing to help. If it's anything to do with commercials or contractual issues or services of that nature, then again get in touch with the Crown Commercial Service, which you can do through the .gov.uk website. And finally, on that strand of information, you can also subscribe directly to the Government Digital Services blogs and other documents, so that as soon as updates come and get published on gov.uk, they will be sent to you as links on your inbox. Okay, moving on to the new code of connection. The main change is that the code of connection now is just functioning and focusing on network compliance for the network layers. That means the major components that you will need to produce for a successful PSN code of connection submission is a very good annotated network diagram, which should clearly show all of your main sites, the number of servers that you have, the number of users and connected devices and the breakdown of those. So the number of mobile devices, tablets, mobile phones, smartphones that are connected to your network, the number of laptops, PCs, etc. That all needs to be annotated on the network diagram. The network diagram needs to clearly show the major sites that you've got connected to the PSN, the firewalls and the routers, and any other network devices such as proxy servers, content scanners and things of that nature. You'll also need to show the Wi-Fi connections, any wireless, VPN routers, things of that nature. Inter-site connections are very important, as are directly connected third parties. So if you have any outsourced suppliers or anything like that with a permanent connection to your network, that needs to be shown on your diagram as well. The next component that is really important is your IT health check. Excuse me. Now, traditionally, IT health checks have been done once a year. That's fine. But you should also consider doing quarterly scanning, vulnerability scanning. Now, a lot of organisations already do that for PCI, so it is possible that that can also help just by some minor tweaking potentially. But you do need to make sure that your IT health check is properly scoped so that you have a correct percentage of servers, PCs and devices within scope. The suggested sample is around about 10%. What I would say though is if you're using a standard build and standard deployment, and you can absolutely evidence this, that all the devices are locked down with separate user accounts and admin accounts on them. For instance, a laptop has an admin account, but the user who uses the laptop logs into a user account without admin access. These all help to reduce the number of devices that will need to be included in the IT health check scanning. If you don't use a standard build, then you will need to think about how many devices would be appropriate for that type of scoping document. As a bare minimum, excuse me, you need to include firewalls, VPN access, your configuration, explaining how the deployment's done, and the wireless network, remote VPNs, and any remote access that you have through websites, remote servers, things of that nature. They all need to be checked out and should be in scope. Please also don't forget to do web app testing as well. The more we rely on websites from the future and web applications, the more important it becomes to include web app scanning in your IT health check. Under the PSN, anything which is medium and above will need a remedial action plan. These will be accepted now, providing that they've got milestones in and you can evidence progress against them. If you've got lows and medium lows, then they will likely be accepted. But again, if you can show a robust governance process, that will also help. In terms of achieving a 2-year coded connection, the standard is still a 12-month connection. But it is possible that if you're showing a high level of organisational maturity, especially around things like information governance and risk management, that the PSN will consider a 2-year coded connection. My advice would be that even if you put in a submission for 2 years, that you undertake that you will still do an IT health check at the 12-month period into that 2-year period. Also, you should be doing things like scanning regularly and report any anomalies or anything which flags up a high risk or medium risk to the PSN. If you've got a 2-year certificate and you're 14 months in, they're not going to stop you from having the last 10 months, but if you tell them, then when you come to renew, that will put you in a good light that you're demonstrating organisational maturity for a further 2-year extension. The main things the new coded connection are concentrating on now are things like patching, which has always been a major problem and continues to be so. Absolutely critical. If nothing else happens, patching is the most important thing that you can do. Regular scanning, corporate information governance, so having an information risk owner, CIRO, senior information risk owner in place. Information asset owners identified, having things like a corporate information asset register. Regular corporate information governance group meetings on a quarterly basis, and a very good incident management process which is reported up through the corporate information management group. The PSN, as I said earlier, is focusing on the network, but at the same time it's really important to make sure that you've got good information governance in place, because technical solutions alone will not be enough to deal with all of the problems and issues which arise. The one thing that is also becoming more and more important now is intrusion detection and network monitoring. You have to think of these as your burglar alarm on your network. We refer to those, you've heard about GPG 13. GPG 13, Good Practice Guide number 13, is CESG's guidance around network monitoring systems. But you don't have to go and spend a fortune on these systems. There are a number of very good open source solutions out there that can help. The main thing is to monitor the things like your Active Directory, major servers, the firewalls, proxy servers, the wireless network connection points, the VPN connection points. A lot of threats are getting through now through malware, and some of this malware is not easy to detect using standard software. So intrusion detection systems are becoming more and more important as we move forward. It's important as well that you get regular feeds of information, so make sure that you are subscribed to GovCert alerts. I would also urge everybody to join the CISP, the CISP online platform, which is part of Search UK. If you haven't already signed up to CISP, can I recommend that you do so by going to www.cisp.org.uk. That's cisp.org.uk. You can use my name, Mark Brett, as your sponsor. There is going to be a local government group on there as well, and that will contain information being provided by GovCert UK and Cert UK. In future briefings, I'll be talking about CISP and some of the other more specific work that we're doing as part of the Socitm PSN solutions. For now though, can I please ask that you sign up to the Knowledge Hub, start engaging, start posing questions, answering questions from colleagues and peers that are on there as well. Get involved and register yourself on CISP. If you have got any inquiries about the PSN Code of Connection, the PSN advisors are very happy to help. Drop them an email and ask questions. If you're not sure about any of the commercial aspects of PSN, or the G-Cloud services or what's happening with any of those, you can address those questions to the Crown Commercial Service. Again, Crown Commercial Service, CCS, are on gov.uk, so you can get in touch with them and they'll be more than pleased to help you. I hope you found this briefing useful. I look forward to talking to you again next time.